welcome back to another deck profile. This one's been hyped up on Instagram for a good bit, and we'll be test dueling it. I'll be doing it with Toro, since he's personally wanted to see how I got it up to 25,000, but he's not gonna be like the other duelists. He's gonna try to stop me. So let's see what we can do. But I've been experimenting with Megalith for a good bit. It's been a lot of fun. There's so much you can do with this deck other than synchros that you guys haven't begun to see its capability. So let's go ahead and get started. With our first triple copies of Incantation Talismandra, we're running the Incantation engine with it, and I think it's fairly obvious as to why. Incantations really help out with rituals. This one specifically, you can reveal a ritual monster in your hand, special summon this card and one from your deck. And then if this card is special summoned from the deck, you can add a ritual monster from deck to hand, but you can only use one of its effects per turn. With it, we also run 2 copies of Candle. Candle is similar, except I must reveal a ritual spell. And when this card is special summoned from the deck, I can add one ritual spell from deck to hand. Overall, I'd rather have this special summoned, mostly so I can just get the right monsters, but if I need to, I will get this out. We run triple copies of Yugioh at 10,000 hands. When this card is normal flip summon, add one ritual monster or ritual spell from deck to hand. Really helps out with getting these two set up, and lets me get into what I need to for later on. This is one you guys haven't seen, Magician of Black Chaos Max. This is one of the few cards that really make Megalith a little bit crazy. We ritual summon this with the Chaos form, but we aren't really going to do that. We're going to ritual summon by our own means. When this card is special summon, you can true one monster. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects for this turn. How can that be abused? Oh, a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. So, let's continue on. I'll let you know when. We're on 2 copies of Plague. So, with Megalith, they can be ritual summoned with any Megalith card, and level 8 specifically can discard themselves to summon one Megalith ritual monster from my hand by attributing monsters from my hand or field whose levels equal or exceed the level. But the effect of Flag itself is that all my monsters gain their attack defense for each ritual monster in my graveyard. Not the biggest boost in the world. It's a boost, but it's mostly here for the discard effect. Triple copies of Artron. Artron is our best level 8. If not him, obviously Bethor. But I personally like this one mostly because its discard effect is now a quick effect, meaning that if I start with him, full, and any monster, I can immediately get out full and play during your first turn to force you to try and remove them during your first turn, but if you can't, then you're kind of stuck. This card's effect is that when my opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, quick effect, place one ritual monster from my graveyard to the bottom of the deck, negate it, and then destroy it. Bethor. When people think of Megalith, I'm pretty sure this one's the first one that comes to mind, solely how busted it is. This one doesn't have the quick effect to discard, but what it does do is that when it's ritual summon, you can target cards from controls up to the number of ritual monsters with different names in your graveyard, destroy them. The reason why this is busted is because full exists. We run 2 copies of Incantation Sign. Again, this is just to help us get set up. 1 copy of Necros of Unicorn. Necros is a really good ritual deck overall, but I think Megalith is really gonna push them out of their league. But Unicorn itself is a really good ritual monster overall. I would highly recommend putting it into a Megalith deck, since we kind of focus with XCs a little bit, but we don't fully use them all the time. So you can run Unicorn, and it completely negates the effects of all face-up monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. So Numeron are now dead. Salamangreat, well, that's Salaman dead. There's so much you can do with it. Double copies of Repyral. So now that we hit the level 4s, level 4s don't discard the ritual summon themselves, but their effect is that you can ritual summon a Megalith monster by attributing cards from your hand or field, including themselves. But when this card is ritual summoned, you can add one Megalith monster from deck to hand. Now what makes this really good is that first effect, when it's ritual summoned to add a Megalith monster, that's not a once per turn, and the same goes for all level 4s. This one is to add one Megalith spell or trap. That's not once per turn. Draw one, discard one. That's not once per turn. So I can use these effects as much as I want, but their effect to use themselves as the material is once per turn. This one, I would talk about this one, but it's Repyral, but for spells and traps. This one I will talk about Ook. Ooks is a quick effect to ritual summon or ritual monsters. So what you can do is use this and any other level 4 or higher to get out Black Chaos Max. And when you do, you contribute it during your opponent's turn, and now your opponent cannot activate monster effects during their turn. They're forced into only spells and traps. Overall, it's a very scary thing to do, and it could lock your opponent out completely. And assuming that you have Necros and Unicorn on the field, now if they can even get anything out of the extra deck, it's already negated. So what are they going to do? Next up is what makes Megalith broken. Welcome to Megalith Full. It's only level 2. If this card's ritual summon, target any ritual you can target one ritual monster in the graveyard. This card's level becomes the level of that ritual monster, then you add that ritual monster to your hand. And then during the main phase, quick effect, ritual summon one Megalith ritual monster from hand or deck by turning monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level. So in theory, you can target one level 8s in the grave, make this level 8, then ritual summon Bethor by using level 8 you have in your hand that you got from Full. Because that's fair. Triple copies of Inception. Again, this is just meant for the incantations to help us get everything out. You can use to ritual summon any ritual monster, must tribute incantation monsters. Its cards in the graveyard, you can summon one incantation card from hand or face up field to graveyard, except Inception, special one incantation monster from the deck, and then add this card from graveyard to hand. Really good effect. Double copies of Forbidden Chocolate. It's a really good negate, and I actually got one of these when the pack first released. I think it was actually the first secret that I pulled. So I thought, we'll add 2 of it here for why not, but you can easily substitute it with a not incantation. Damn it. Infinite Impermanence. Triple copies of Megalith Unformed. It's our quick play spell. Both effects are not once per turn, but the first effect is kind of useless. All monsters my opponent controls lose 5 attack for each ritual monster on field, so a max of 2,500. But the second effect is to ritual summon one Megalith ritual monster from your deck and defense by tributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal exactly twice its level. So what you can do, in theory, is if you go to set up the Xyz board, try to keep a level 4 out on the field as well, so you can use this, go into Full, and continue your ritual plays while you have these Xyz on the field, making it much harder for your opponent to respond. Megalith Portal, add 2 copies. If you're not going for Xyz and you're going to pure rituals, Megalith Portal is going to be a very important card to get your hand on. Each time each ritual monster you control will be short of battle each turn is not, so it doesn't specify just Megalith, all my ritual monsters. Then if a Megalith monster is special summoned except during damage step, you can target one ritual monster in graveyard and add it to your hand. So let's go back to Full again. I use its effect, comes level 8, I have a level 8 to hand. Send that level 8 to the grave to grab another level 8 from the deck, special summon it, then that level 8 is sent to the grave, put it back in the hand. Free special summons from the deck, why not? Alright, for the extra deck, 2 copies of number 92. We're not going to look at this. This doesn't matter to us. This card cannot be destroyed at battle. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles following this card. During your opponent's end phase, you can detach one extra hero from this card, banish all cards your opponent currently controls that were normal or special summoned or were set this turn. If this card is destroyed while it has Xyz hero, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, and if you do, it gains 1,000 attack from each card currently banished. Currently, I don't like to put this on the field, but I kind of have it in here just for a little bit of fun playtesting. It's really fun. 2 copies of number 38. I think we've seen this a lot. Same thing Gears do. We already know what these 2 do. They're the OGs, they're the old ones. Number 68. So if Salmon and Great weren't already dead from Unicorn, this thing just kind of finishes the job. Since once per turn, detach one turn from this card until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card cannot be destroyed by value effects, and neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyard. Oh no. And on top of that, it gains 100 attack points for each monster in the graveyards. Meaning, it's gonna get pretty beefy. And not only that, but my opponent can't special summon anything from the grave. Pretty easy to do. Number 23, Lancelot. This card can attack your opponent directly while it's X material. With 2,000 attack, that's not too bad. And then, when it does damage, you can target one phase of monster opponent controls and destroy it. That's not too bad. Its second effect is a soft once returned during either play turn when a spell, trap card, or another monster effect is activated. Detach one material from this card and negate it, meaning that if I get 2 of these out, that's 2 free negates. And of course, number 100 Numeron Dragon. This was the reason this deck profile was wanted to be made. Detach one this is a once per turn, detach 1 XYZ material from this card. This card gains tag equal to combined ranks of all XYZ monsters currently in field times 1000 until the end of my opponent's turn. Then if this card is destroyed by card effect, destroy as many monsters in the field as possible, minimum 1. Then each player sets 1 spell and trap card from their graveyard to their field. When opponent's monster players an attack while this card is in your graveyard, and you have no cards in your hand or field, you can special summon this card, which is not once per turn, which, yeah, that's not too bad, but we're not going to need it. We're likely never going to see that effect. And of course, the reason I saved this for last, number 97, Dragon Yugioh, 2 level 8, so we can get that. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. You can detach 1 material from this card, take 2 dragon number monsters with different names from your extra deck and or graveyard except number 97, special summon one of them, and then attach the other 2 as material. Also for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon other monsters or declare an attack except with that special summon monster. So all we would do is focus on getting full out with a level 8, a level 4, and the unformed. If we have that, then we'll go into our Dragon Blind and either set up with a number 38, or if we can really cheese it, the battle, a number 100. But usually we'll go into this for number 38, and then next turn we'll do the same effect again for 100 Numeron Dragon. Assuming that it is done correctly, we're looking at a pretty hefty battle.